Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to another HTML CSS tutorial. Today is part 2 of my tutorials on border. And the topics I will cover in this tutorial are different border styles and the all-in-one border attribute. So let's jump right into the tutorial. Firstly, different border styles, and the most basic border style that is used quite often is solid. So that's basically a solid border around the element, and it gives a sort of a compact look to the element. Apart from this basic border style, solid, there are quite a few other border styles. The next one that comes to mind is dashed. This basically represents an envelope type of a look, and we have all seen this type of design on an envelope or on a stamp. After that, the next border style is dotted. So the dotted border style is basically a combination of dots. You can see here, it is similar to the dashed one, but it's more of dots rather than small or short lines. The next border style is double, and by double we mean two, so two border lines combine to create the border or to carry out the border. So double border style represents a two-lined border. You can see here we get two border lines. The next border style is outset, and it's quite similar to the solid one. The only difference is in the color. In solid border style, there was no linear gradient of color. It was one plain color. But in here, the outset border style uses linear gradient as one of its properties. So at the top you can see that, or you can notice that the blue is not as dark as the one at the side. Side, the blue is a lot darker, but not the top. Similarly, at the bottom, the blue is a lot darker than the blue in the left. If you try to notice attentively, then you will get the point. The next one is inset, and this too is similar to the solid border, but it uses a linear gradient of color. Not all the blues here are the same type of dark, so there are different RGB values attached to it. But it doesn't make a huge difference since the border width is not too much, and you can use any one of them, either of them, solid, outset, or inset. That's it for the border styles, and let's move on to our next topic, and that is border attributes, the all-in-one border attribute. Here you can see that I have specified 3 different border attributes to carry out the border: border style, border color, and border width. But to save up some time, we can actually use one keyword as border attribute and specify different border attribute values. So just need to write the keyword border, and this keyword actually contains all the border attributes that we need. So all we have to do now is specify the border attribute values, just like this: border style, solid, border color, blue, and border width. So here, what this border attribute means is that it has all the border attributes available to it, and all we have to do is assign the border attribute values. So when we run it, we can see that it's the same. The most beautiful thing about this all-in-one border attribute is that you do not, and I repeat, you do not have to specify the sequence for the attribute values. So here you can see that at first I have written the border style attribute value. If I wanted, I could have written the border style attribute value at the second position or at last. The text editor is quite smart to identify the border attributes. So when I have written blue, the text editor will recognize that this is a border color attribute value. When I have written solid, the text editor will recognize that I have written a border style attribute value. Similarly, 9 pixels represents border width. So the text editor will easily recognize that. You can see that it makes no difference when I write the border color before the border style. Similarly, I could use border width at the first position, no problem. You do not have to specify the sequence for the border attribute values. So this saves up some of your time. So let's recap the 2 benefits of using the all-in-one border attribute is that you can save up some time by writing only one attribute name instead of all, and you can assign the border attribute values in a simultaneous way. You do not have to specify any sequence. So you do not have to think over the sequence, just type them down. So that's all for this tutorial. Please join me for the next one, and bye for now.